The tax filing deadline is approaching. Welcome back to Techstination. Joining us from H&R Block is Chief Tax Officer Kathy Pickering. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, good morning. How are you today?
Terrific. Well, you oversee the team of enrolled agents, CPAs, and attorneys who make up the Tax Institute there. Give us the overview on what some of the biggest changes people are running into this year might be.
So, this year, the good news is that a lot of things stayed the same, and the IRS has updated their tax brackets a little more generously this year. So, what that means is if your tax situation stayed basically the same, you're going to see a little bit of a bigger refund. And who doesn't want that?
Exactly. And tell us about the use of AI technology to assist people.
So we are really excited about this. H&R Block has a do-it-yourself product where people can go online and prepare their own taxes. And based on our almost 70 years of experience, we have this huge database of information about taxes and common questions and those kinds of things. And so we've used that in conjunction with an AI tool, which for us, we just call the AI Tax Assist. And that's a generative AI tool that allows tax clients to ask questions and get information in the middle of their tax filing experience. So, really, what it does is it just helps streamline and simplify the tax filing process, which, when you're trying to go it alone, sometimes you need a little bit of extra help. That said, what we're finding is that it's where if you've got really complex situations or very detailed kinds of specifics that you need help on, that's still a really good time for you to ask for help with an actual professional so that you can go into your specific situations. But for those broad general questions where you just need straightforward information, that AI Tax Assist is really great, and people are liking it a lot.
And you have different options available for consumers who want to use your solutions. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have the whole spectrum from a fully assisted experience where you can go, make an appointment with a professional, meet with them in person in one of our offices. And that's the kind of traditional experience, and they'll do everything for you. But now we've been able to leverage a number of technology solutions. So if somebody wants to do a digital drop off, so they want to upload their documents into our secure encrypted portal and then have an assistant or a tax professional assist them with their taxes virtually and then file it for them, all the way to somebody wanting to do it themselves where they're putting in all their own information and filing the return. So we've got that whole spectrum with lots of options in between.
And as you mentioned, I think maybe before, it even starts at free for people with very simple returns, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, if your return is very straightforward and simple, you can start for free. We also have what we call the upfront transparent pricing. So if you're getting into a situation where it might cost a little bit of money, we're going to let you know that before you go into it, so you don't get surprised afterwards. And it just helps people understand what they're paying for and how much it's going to cost.
So, getting back to getting those taxes done, tell us what we should know about things like the EV tax credits, which are pretty new.
Yeah, and so if you purchased an electric vehicle last year, you were probably working with a dealer who was explaining how that credit worked. And so basically, for most people, it was a reduction in your purchase price or an advance on a tax credit. And then you have to file it on your tax return this year. So they will have given you some information that you need to include on your tax return, with your VIN number and, different information about the vehicle. But the good news is there were options for both new and used EVs, and that credit could be up to $7,500. So that can really help with that purchase price of the vehicle.
And the way the credit worked last year, I know it's different this year. You actually had to owe the amount to be able to claim the
That's
full credit?
right. They're not gonna give you extra money just for buying a car. It has to have been money that you had spent, and it's in effect a reimbursement of that, if that makes sense.
Also, questions people might have about the child tax legislation going through Congress, and is that going to affect our taxes?
Yeah, this is legislation that uh, they had hoped, I think, to pass in January before the filing season started, and for a whole host of reasons, it hasn't gotten done yet, and it's still very much in discussion. And so we've been getting a lot of questions from filers about, well, should we wait to see if the legislation passes because we might be getting more money when it passes and that kind of thing. And the important thing for people to know now is that the IRS is prepared to automatically calculate any additional benefit if that legislation does get passed. And then they will just send additional money on to you if and when it gets passed. So we've been telling people, don't wait to file, because it's already been a lot longer than we thought before we've seen resolution on this. So don't wait to file your taxes now, and the IRS will make an automatic adjustment and send any additional money you're due as soon as the legislation gets passed.
So keep your fingers crossed.
Exactly.
And a lot of people have, I guess they're called side hustles these days, ways of making money besides their regular jobs, I suppose. What should they know and be aware of this year?
Yeah, so with a side hustle, examples of that are things like maybe you're a rideshare driver, maybe you sell some things that you make on Etsy, those kinds of things. And there was a legislation that said that on those payment platforms that they needed to send you a 1099K if you earned more than $600. And so that would have impacted a lot of people having to report that income. The IRS wasn't ready to implement that legislation, so they postponed it for another year. And what they've said is that starting next year, the threshold will be at $5,000. So the good news is it was postponed for a year. People aren't having to report income, less than $20,000, if you will. However, this is the perfect time to start taking stock of your side hustle, understanding how much money you are making, and then getting ready for those changes that are going into effect next year.
Terrific. For more info, where's the best place to go?
HRBlock.com. We just have a wealth of information. You can go and make an appointment with a tax pro or even start preparing your taxes there. So, HRBlock.com.
Kathy Pickering, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Now this. It takes a lot of listening to build a better radio, and that's just what the folks at C. Crane have done. Bob Crane and his crew, nestled among the rivers and tallest trees in the world in Fortuna, California, have made a habit of listening to their customers. And that's just what they've done in building the CC Skywave SSB, the Swiss Army knife of portable radios. For everyday listening to AM or FM in the yard or patio or on the nightstand, without having to drain a mobile phone battery, it's a great companion. But it is also a companion equipped for NOAA weather information and alerts that can be life-saving. You can listen to FEMA and Coast Guard transmissions too. Beyond all of that, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world. It's compact, easy to take with you, and built to last. The CC Skywave SSB. Click on the link at Techstination.com.